What it do, dirtbags? It has been far too long, and I just gotta ask, did you miss me? You don't have to be so coy about it, I know you missed me, it's fine, everybody misses me, it's occasional, it's occasional that I just go on these long breaks where I don't do anything, I don't upload, and I have no excuse, but I'm back now, and this is probably the longest break I ever intend on taking, but I think I said that last time, so maybe don't listen to me. But the point is, we are so back, baby, and I am ready to upload your inbox with as much garbage as possible. I'm going to inundate you with as many videos as you can imagine, and by that I mean maybe once a week if I'm doing well enough to, you know, actually do what I try and set out to do. If I can actually follow through on my promises for once, I might actually, maybe garner an audience. But with all my belly aching aside, I think it's finally time we get into what I do best, what I really excel at, what I've always loved to do on this channel, and that is bullying people who I have never watched the content of and who are so large that they could never even notice, never even conceive of my existence. So to lay the groundwork on today's content creator, today's content creator, back in the day in 2016, there used to be a genre of YouTube videos called react videos. Now, the upper echelons of this genre would have highly edited videos of people reacting to media, and they would give the bare minimum amount of that media so that it's purely the reaction, it's purely transformative, and it doesn't at all supplant the need for that media. What I mean by this is these videos wouldn't replace the media being reacted to because they're focusing almost entirely on the reaction and not the media. You couldn't just watch these videos and be like, oh, I basically already saw that thing, so I don't have to watch it because I already saw it through the reactions. But as you know, if you've been here on this website for a long period of time, you know that this is not the standard for this type of video. In fact, the only people really putting in that amount of effort was the Fine Brothers. And even they were hated because react videos were considered the absolute bottom of the barrel scum of the earth when it came to YouTube. And rightfully so, because all these people really did was steal content. They would just sit there and steal for hours, adding as little as possible to the videos they were quote-unquote making, just adding themselves into the corner with dumbfounded expressions and doing literally nothing else for the entire 10 minutes. Now, this genre basically died, but that description of adding yourself into the corner of the screen and sitting there and doing basically nothing might sound a little familiar to you. Reincarnation is a bitch, isn't it? Because while this genre died in the short term on YouTube, it found a new home through these streaming websites such as Twitch. And this is something I've actually talked about in the past, but those videos are pretty old and my style wasn't quite developed yet, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend watching them, but they're there if you're interested. But yeah, these streamers have found a way to take an already incredibly insufferable format of content and make it infinitely more egregious. And few are as guilty as the illustrious man himself, XQC. So let me give you the rundown on what these people do and why I find it just so abhorrent, so appalling, and so infuriating. So these live streamers will go out, they'll find a video essay, maybe a compilation of TikToks, maybe just random internet videos, and they'll go out and they'll record themselves. They'll get onto their live streams and they'll have their fan base in the chat scrolling, and then they'll start reacting. And what I mean by reacting is they'll have their portrait in about 10% of the screen, just sitting there doing very little. They won't be saying much, they won't be making many jokes, they won't be pausing very often. At times, XQC will literally go to the bathroom for minutes on end while on stream watching someone else's content. And he doesn't even give us the satisfaction of taking the camera with him into the bathroom, he just leaves. He just leaves an empty chair as his fanbase just sits there in the chat watching another person's video with absolutely nothing added to it. And on its face, you might be thinking, well, that's just about equally as bad as the whole 2016 React thing. Pretty bad, pretty not great, but I don't see how it's worse than that. Well, dear viewer, allow me to enlighten you as to how this eclipses the scumminess of the 2016 reactors. See, because that's not all they do. They don't just sit here and react. They actually take these long stream VODs, the recording of the streams, and they send it off to their editor because you know they're too lazy to do it themselves. And then these streamers will have one channel dedicated to the entire VOD so you can watch everything that happened on stream, all the glorious content they made on stream, you can watch it back. And they'll also have a main channel with edited stream VODs that'll remove all the dead air of situations where they go to the bathroom or they don't talk for like 5 minutes straight so that it seems even slightly transformative in the loosest sense of the word. So they get to benefit from the money they make doing the stream, as well as the money they make from people watching the VODs, just sitting there letting it play in the background, and they'll make money from the people watching the compiled VODs, the ones getting cut down into actual actual sort of content. And all of it, every step of the way, uses someone else's production put together, hours and hours of effort into these long-form videos, these essays, these other people's TikToks, these other people's edited commentaries. And sometimes they might go out and ask for permission, and that's good. That's all well and good to get permission from the actual people making these things, that you're not just straight stealing, but a lot of the times, they just don't. They just do not do that at all. And by a lot of the times, I mean the vast majority of the time. And that, in and of itself, is a pretty bleak business model. Very exploitive and very gross, but it's exploiting other people's content. It's not exploiting their fans, right? At least the fans are benefiting. But hold on, dear viewer. I might sound like a nutcase here in a second, but listen to me, just listen for a little bit and I'll explain why I think this is a bad thing for the viewer as well. Now, you being the incredibly intelligent, beautiful human being that you are to have happened to click on a Crucifix video, you likely know several people who have brain rot from things like YouTube Shorts and TikToks. People who doom scroll on their phones non-stop 24/7 for a little bit of that dopamine, a little hit of that dopamine before bed. I gotta watch 60 to 70 fucking TikToks before bed, dude. I really gotta watch them. These people get trapped in an endless feedback loop of dopamine where they scroll and they scroll, always chasing that little hit, that little high from watching little 10-second clips from podcasts and shit like that. And I would argue that these streams, in quotations, are just about the same thing in a different form. Ask yourself this. What is the appeal of watching someone else react to a piece of media, a piece of content? Couldn't you watch that piece of media on your own? Your impulse might be to say, oh, it's the personality of the reactor. I want to come and watch these people because they have interesting reactions, and the people with the most interacting? What the f***, dude? And the people with the most interesting reactions are the ones that you're going to watch most, right? Those are obviously going to be the most successful streamers, you would think, right? What if I told you it was the opposite of that? The goal of these reaction streamers is to let the content they're reacting to carry the show for the most part. They want to minimize the amount they have to react while maximizing the amount the viewer is seeing of it. They put themselves in the corner, the reaction is minimized, they have very minimal statements, they barely say anything, they rarely actually pause the stream to talk to the audience, and when they do, it's kind of minor. There will be little segments where they'll talk for an extended amount of time at the beginning, in between certain clips that they're showing, in between certain videos that they're showing, and at the end to make it seem like this is a full production, but it's also sort of akin to a commercial break if you were watching TV. And that's about the most you're going to hear from the reactor, you know, aside from the occasional pausing and being like, oh, haha, that was really, really funny, chat, I found that hilarious. Anyway, unpause. So now you're asking, Crucifix, why would people watch that? Why would people ever sit through that? That sounds boring and dumb as all hell. Now, for me, this doesn't apply because I'm an antisocial sociopath, but if you had the option, if you had the choice between sitting and watching a movie by yourself or watching with friends, which would you choose? The layman would probably choose their friends, right? They would want to sit there with a group of people watching the same thing, chat and discuss about what they're watching, and feel really good because they're having a social experience with other people. Isn't that beautiful? And that's your answer. People don't watch XQC for XQC, they watch him for his chat. And you might say, oh, Crucifix, you're crazy. These people absolutely love this guy. They're straight up fanatical. They can't get enough. Have you seen the way they defend him? How could they not be watching for him? But that's the thing about the intensity of this parasocial relationship. They aren't watching for him, they like to think they're watching with him. And when you come after him, it's not like you're coming after their favorite creator, you're coming after the friend they watch all these videos with. You're coming after their methodology of ingesting this media, their way of life, if you will. They love sitting there in these chats and just endlessly talking and scrolling, and anytime he's like, oh yeah, that's a good question, whatever your username is, they feel the utmost dopamine. It's like a little science experiment. These people are being tested on like rats or chickens. Chickens are a better example because I'm pretty sure this is a real world experiment. You put a chicken in a box and there's a button. Anytime it pecks the button, you give it a little bit of corn. And if you do this long enough, eventually you don't have to give it corn to give it the satisfaction that comes from pressing the button. In fact, if you space out the intervals of giving the corn, it gets more satisfied because giving it the corn every every time just isn't that satisfying. You want to scroll TikTok endlessly until you find a video that's really entertaining and you're like, oh, that's good, I am so happy. You want to keep watching this guy until he notices your comment and you're like, oh yeah, that feels so good. Oh! You just love pressing that button, and you can't wait till you get more corn. And it absolutely destroys these people. I mean, have you seen these kinds of people? They're absolutely repulsive. They're some of the worst human beings I know. Everyone has an addiction. Everyone has something they're using to kill themselves with, but if you look at the side effects that come with each, you find that certain ones have an effect on your brain that is absolutely just horrible. It's mind-bogglingly repulsive. If you're a real gooner and you do nothing but goon every single day, you'll go from watching normal, regular adult women to finding ancient grandmas who are farting on balloons to be the most attractive thing in the world, because you will become such a absolute degenerate from the brain rot it is causing you. You'll stop finding regular people attractive. Hell, you'll stop being able to look them in the eye. If you doom scroll TikTok long enough, if you watch enough YouTube shorts, if you watch enough XQC and other streamers, you'll find yourself in a zombie vegetative state, constantly walking around without thoughts, just utterly horrified at the possibility that you might be bored for even a couple seconds, that you might have to deal with the onset of reality. You might have to hear a little bit of nothing. You might have to endure some silence for a little bit of time. And it's always funny to me because these zombies are the same people who will chastise you for smoking cigarettes, and it's like, dude, at least I can think. You're suffering from one of the worst cases of brain rot I have ever seen. Like, sure, my life's gonna be shorter, but at least I get to live, you know what I mean? You might live forever, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna endlessly ingest media? Never a second of silence? You can't appreciate a walk in the woods with nothing? We all have our addictions, but it just turns out that mine's better than yours. Sorry, that's just how the game works. Now, I'm definitely not the first person to call XQC out on this. He's dealt with this in the past, and his recent sort of rebuttal against this has seen him fighting back, really defending himself, claiming, I'm not lazy, screaming it to the world, he is not lazy. So I just thought I'd show you a clip of how great his work ethic is. Yeah, this man has a mate. He has just trash everywhere, and then he pays someone to clean it up for him. Can't even be bothered to clean up his own garbage. Now, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this man is so reprehensible that he has found a way to make me, in the year of our Lord 2023, agree with not only Ethan Klein, who I already find just gross and annoying, but Hassan Piker. Two of the worst people on the internet, to be honest. I can't believe I'm at this point, but take a look.
If you ever see a video like that on YouTube, it is most likely from a fan channel that took a straight VOD rip and posted it on YouTube and is monetizing it themselves. It's not touching me in any capacity. And
can I be honest with you?
What?
There will be a time, in my opinion, where there'll be some legal hammer that will come down on streamers. And there will be a time.
Chat. There will be a time where people don't even use cars anymore, dude. There used to be a time where people were gonna start flying. Chat. There's a time, chat. There's a time, chat, where people are gonna be teleporting, dude. Oh.
Okay, I know I said I agree with Ethan Klein here, but I also just find XQC funny. Like, I find that to be a funny ripping on Ethan Klein, because I find Ethan to be just such an insufferable person that even when he's right, I like making fun of him. Anyway, that's just about enough lecturing and ranting for one day. Thank you so much for watching, and beyond that, thank you guys so much for getting me to 300 subscribers. Honestly, that seems like an incredibly large amount of people willing to just sit down and watch my garbage. I can't really believe that, but thank you for for enduring my my ranting and raving, and my breaks that last literally 60 days for some reason sometimes. But yeah, hopefully someday Crucifix will be a household name, and this growth will never end. So if you want to be part of the endless Crucifix wave, the Crucifix sweep if you will, then go ahead and go down and hit subscribe, and if you feel so beautifully inclined, like the video, hit the notification, you know, do all the stupid please. I mean, this isn't a charity case or anything. I'm not gonna sit here and beg you to subscribe, but could you, like, please? Like pretty please? Like, with cherries on top and shit, dude? Like, please? Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching. My name is, has been, and will be Crucifix in the foreseeable future. I love you. Goodbye.
That's it for Bleach.
It's a good machine, Samurai!
What do you want?
Hi!
Check out Samurai 7 next.